MSDOSX for spring 2012. Go.
Okay, as you can see, we have a lot of people. We'll talk about enrollment at the end. Today is just going to be a really brief overview of how the class is going to work. I don't expect it to last more than like 20 minutes. Then you'll be free to go, and then we'll start doing real content on Thursday. So first of all, welcome to MSDOSX. If you're wondering about the name, it's MS-DOS not, because we're Macintosh student developers for OS 10. So we'll teach you guys how to make apps for iPhone and for Mac. And basically the goal of the class is to give you guys the tools to make your own app of your own design, either for Mac or for iOS, depending on what you're interested in working on. So we'll give a bunch of lectures about the framework topics, and then you guys can just work on your projects and build some really cool apps for us and show us off at the end. So some prerequisites just to kind of make sure that everybody is kind of at the level we expect. The slides are, if you've never programmed before, this really isn't a class for you. We do expect you to be at about a 61B-ish level, so if you're in 61B right now, that's about where you need to be, or if you're further on than that. You need to be comfortable with new programming ideas and be able to pick up a language fairly quickly, because we're going to cover Objective-C in the first 2 weeks. We highly recommend that you're familiar with C or an object-oriented language like Java. Objective-C, as you can probably guess, is an object-oriented language, and so having familiarity with an object-oriented language is going to be very beneficial to picking up Objective-C. Any questions about prerequisites? That should be pretty clear. Before we go any further, I guess we should do some introductions. I'm Kevin Jorgensen. I'm a fourth-year computer science major. I've been developing for iOS basically since the SDK came out 3 years ago. And I've been doing Mac development about the same amount of time. I interned over at Apple this summer working on iOS development, and I'll be returning there full-time after I graduate. Helping me teach, we have Glenn.
Hi, I'm Glenn Sugden. I've been in the industry working as a software developer for about 25 years. I've recently come back to Cal to get my degree. All my computer science and all my computer programming was all self-taught. So now I'm coming back to Cal to get my computer science degree as well as my teach credential, because I want to teach computer science to kids. I've been a Macintosh developer since 1984, 128K Mac, when it was Pascal and 68,000 Motorola assembly only, or Microsoft Quick Basic. So I've been a Mac developer that long. iOS was a little more recent than that. It was probably a year after Kevin started, so I'm a little more familiar with the Macintosh side than I am with the iOS side, but there's so much overlap between the two that, which you'll see as we go along, that it's very smooth. It was a very smooth transition.
Okay, and helping us out this semester and hopefully learning to teach in the future, we have Jordan Salter and Daniel Roth. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Jordan. I'm a fourth year going on fifth computer science comp sci double major. I took MS-DOSX with Kevin a while ago, so the class has changed completely. I guess I'll see what it's like now.
Daniel, I think I'm the newest member of the team. I've been developing on Mac since last semester. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll be quite as helpful, but I'll do what I can, and feel free to ask for help.
Thanks for helping out, guys. All right. So, the way this class is going to work is we're going to have, for each class meeting, we're going to have a lecture at the beginning. That'll last anywhere from half an hour to an hour, hopefully not more than that. And then after the lecture, we'll have a lab for you guys to kind of get some hands-on practice with the topic that we talked about that day. At least most of the time. There's a few that we'll skip just because we want to give you guys a break. But about halfway this semester, we'll ask for a proposal for your final project. It's really just to get you guys thinking about what you want to work on, if you want to work on it with a partner, so that way we guys can give you some feedback about some useful libraries or useful frameworks so that way you can really get going with your project. The last few weeks, we won't have any projects, we won't have any labs, but you'll have the extra time to work on your projects instead. And at the end of the semester, you'll present your projects. That will probably be during R&R week. That is a very fuzzy date for now. We'll hopefully have a more firm date closer to the middle of the semester. Okay, so here's an overview of all the topics we're going to cover. It's a lot, as you can see, but it's, hopefully we do a pretty good job of covering all the basics you need to write an iPhone app or Mac app. And then the last few weeks are kind of more bonus lectures where everything else is kind of the core. These are the things you absolutely need to know to write useful apps. The rest, we'll kind of let you guys vote on useful frameworks or packages of code that you guys want to see how to use, like things like doing animation with your apps or doing Grand Central Dispatch parallel processing, these kind of more special topic lectures, and you guys can get to vote on what order you want to see those in. And those are usually quicker than the regular lectures, but just kind of to give you guys some more cool things, hopefully to help you with your projects.
Another thing too, we got some feedback from prior semester, and I think this, well, not so much the semester before, prior semester, we added a lot of content, and so we added a lot of lectures, and some people found some of the more live demos more helpful than just the talking head lectures. So we'll try and do more live demos of things this semester. We've got, all the slides and all the lectures are pretty well planned out and ironed out from last semester. Some of the bugs have been worked out. So we'll try and roll in some more live demos for you guys for some of these things. I know some people prefer the kind of the set order, and some people prefer seeing live. We'll try to accommodate both. If you guys have any suggestions about things, you not only get the feedback form, but even as the semester goes along too, feel free to send us email about suggestions about topics, lectures, how the labs are going, things like that.
Okay, so the grading of this class is pretty straightforward. There are 3 assignments. There's 2 sort of small, sort of big homework assignments, and your final project. And kind of implicit in there is attendance. But basically the grade is an effort grade. As long as you've shown us a significant amount of effort, you'll get a pass. If we can tell that you've been slacking off and you didn't do a very good project, then we'll give you no pass. Historically, the only people I give no passes to are the people who don't give me a final project at the end. Pretty easy. Okay, just a couple of quick points of administration. This class is worth 2 units of pass.pass credit. If you're not signed up for 2 units of pass.pass credit, please use Televerse to change it to 2 units of pass.pass. That's how much credit this class is worth, and I can't change that. You have to change that. If you give me anything else, I will be forced to give you a no pass. This lab has a lot of very nice Macs in it that were donated to us from Apple 2 years ago. We don't want them getting messed up, so there are no food and no drink in this lab at all. We've had problems with that in the past, and we've had some angry people from instructional come by. Don't make us be the bad guys. If we see food, we will ask you to leave and take it and eat it outside.
Yeah, it's nothing personal. It's just we don't want you or us to get yelled at by the IT guys here. So any food or drink, and that includes, try not to bring water bottles and things like that in here too. Just leave food and drinks out, or if you have to have water bottles in here, put them on the far back table back there.
And I know that's going to be a little tough because we are late at night. We're right around dinner time. If you have to bring food, you can bring it, but as long as you eat it, as long as the food doesn't enter the lab and you can have it outside, that's fine. But it just can't be in this lab.
Yeah, you guys can always take breaks anytime you want to. I mean, this time is really your time. So, I mean, we're here making ourselves available so that not only can we present content to you, but also give you feedback and help and suggestions on things. But this is your time. You guys are grown-ups now. So if you need to leave and go have dinner, do that. But please don't bring food and drinks in here.
Okay, so that's really all. Just a couple of resources. All the slides will always be on the website. This is the website. It's instudy.berkeley.MSDOSX. All the slides will be up there. All the lab assignments will be posted there. All the homework assignments will be posted there. So make sure you have that URL before you leave. That's really the only thing you need from this lecture today. Stanford has a great iPhone class that's taught by actual Apple engineers. It's really quite good. That's how I started to learn. So as much as it seems like blasphemy to recommend a class at Stanford, it's a really great resource. They have a lot of great videos. All those classes are on iTunes for like the past 2 or 3 years. And it's a pretty good class. So use that if something we're saying doesn't make sense.
There's a tutorial app that I just saw posted up on there for iOS development. Not quite sure who wrote it, and I haven't really checked it out yet. So your mileage may vary with that app. I'll check it out and see if it's helpful. It's potentially it could be really useful. It's a tutorial type app for iOS development. And if anybody else has seen it or has checked it out or has gone through it, I'd love to hear what your feedback and your thoughts are on it.
And then Apple has some of the best documentation I've ever seen, and they have a lot of it. They have a lot of really good documentation. So if there's ever a question you have, you search for it on Google, most likely the first hit is going to be an Apple page. It's a great, if you ever are wondering how a class works, that's usually where you're going to find it. And then we will have a Piazza forum set up. Hopefully we'll set it up in the next couple of days, and we'll invite you guys all into that class. So if you want to post questions to us or to the class or to your class, hopefully you can preferably you post your questions there first, so that way when we answer your question, everybody else can also see the answer to that question. So we'll set that up so that way you guys can get questions answered from us. And lastly, you can email us.
And those are the email addresses up on the website?
Yeah, but the emails are also on the website. Any questions? Quiet. Yeah.
Should we bring our laptops or do we just use computers?
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the numbers issue. According to schedule at Berkeley, there are 71 people enrolled or waitlisted. This room officially has a capacity of, I think, 35. I'm comfortable with 45 people in the room, so if you have your laptops, please bring them, and leave the Macs in the room for people who don't have their own Mac. This lab actually has a lot of free time this semester, so if the attendance continues to stay this high, we will open up a second section and kind of split you guys up across those two sections depending on your availability. But for the first few weeks at least, we'll try to cram into this room, I guess.
It'll be comfortable in here, very comfortable. And we also might be able to use the self-paced center room next door as an extension to here, at least for the first couple of weeks. The reason that we're keeping it like that is because as people get immersed and dive into Objective-C and iOS development, Mac OS 10 development, some people get a little overwhelmed.
Historically, we have a fairly high dropout.
Yeah, so numbers, people think, oh, it's pass, not pass, just a decal. So numbers in this class start to trail off towards the end of the semester. Actually, much faster than that towards the beginning of the semester. So it should fill out nicely in here. It shouldn't be a problem. Otherwise, we'll figure something out. Don't worry about not being able to get in this class. We'll figure out a way to make it work.
And if you decide this class isn't for you, please remove yourself from Telebears as quickly as possible, so that way we can have somebody else that's on the waiting list can be moved in.
All right.
We don't really have control over the waiting list, so hopefully it'll just kind of work. If we get a few weeks in and we still have a wait list, then we'll manually add people or split into two sectors if we have to.
We'll figure it out. So don't panic, and just be a little flexible as the semester goes on, and the numbers should work themselves out. And if they don't, we'll worry about it. We'll figure out a way to make it work.
Okay, and then one note for next time, if you go to the website right now, there are 2 links for today. There is a link to a Google survey for kind of just getting to know everybody and kind of getting a sense of where everybody is ability-wise. So please fill that out so that we can kind of get a sense of where everybody's at and what they're interested in.
That's really helpful, especially for us to get the opposite ends of the spectrum to figure out what some of the new folks, what they've got, their development experience, and then some people that are returning, some people that have come back here a couple of semesters, or have written their own iOS app, or their own iOS or Mac OS 10 development. So please fill that out when you get a chance. And you don't need pros. We just need some information.
And then the second thing is that there's a link to a reading. If you have not programmed in C before, please go through it. It's kind of an introduction to the amount of C that you'll need to be able to understand Objective-C. Objective-C is built on top of C, so it borrows a lot of the structure from C. So you need to have at least a superficial understanding of C to kind of be able to keep up. So if you haven't done C before, please read through that. It's not terribly long.
No, it's a really good guide. It's a really, really good guide. Even if you have programmed in C and haven't programmed in Objective-C, it's not a bad idea to skim it just to see what features of C are expected of you to know to be a good Objective-C developer.
Okay, and then, so that's all I have. I have a couple of sign-in sheets up here. Please, everybody, come in and sign your name. There's a column for enrolled. If you are actually enrolled according to Telebears, put yes. If you are either waitlisted or neither, put no, please, so that we can kind of get a sense of how many people are actually showing. And we'll do that for at least the first few weeks.
Actually, put yes, WL for waitlist, or not, or no for not enrolled.
Just make it obvious to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what are we getting in account forms?
We'll have those on Thursday.
Is it going to be webcasting?
Yeah, so we are webcasting this semester. The webcasts are also available for last semester, and the links will be available on at least the website. If not, hopefully I can get them on webcast at Berkeley and therefore I can see, but we'll see.
And how fast it will, like, for example, I can be able to go on Tuesday, but on the Thursdays, how fast will it?
As fast, I'll do them as fast as I can do. I promise to have them at least at no later than a week behind.
It's actually really quick.
Yeah. Usually I can do them both over the weekend following the lectures. Okay, so that's it. So just make sure that you come in and sign in before you leave.